political course in the country has been volatile and fast-changing, to say the least. Despite all the accords and agreements, CPN-UML now finds itself in a helpless position as Nepali Congress has taken the center stage, albeit from the back door. Even as Nepali Congress candidate Ramchandra Paudel is now sure to become the country's third head of state, CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli has not given up the fight yet, as he is quoted as saying that the dynamics of national politics might change come March 9. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Dahal warns if a consensus presidential candidate is not decided, the country will witness a new political course. Says all those killed in People's War will be declared martyrs. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development to conduct additional study on the National Dairy Development Board's proposal to raise the price of milk. At least 33 people killed after a migrant shipwreck off the eastern coast of Italy's Calabria region. Some 27 bodies found washed up on the shore, at least 50 rescued. And host South Africa take on formidable Australia in the finals of the ICC T20 World Cup later this evening. The match scheduled for 6:45 p.m. kickoff Nepal time. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has stated that if a consensus presidential candidate is not decided by 9th of March, the country will witness a new political course. Speaking at a program held in Barpak, Gorkha today, Premier Dahal said that the country would take a new political journey if a consensus candidate is not picked by 9th of March. Dahal informed that talks have been ongoing with CPN-UML to decide on consensus presidential candidate. In a different context, Prime Minister Dahal informed that preparations are being made to declare all those killed in the People's War as martyrs in the National Gazette. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has informed that the work on the Truth and Reconciliation Bill is at its final stage. At an interaction held at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar earlier today with the families of those who were killed or disappeared in the armed conflict, Premier Dahal said that the remaining works of the peace process would conclude soon. Prime Minister Dahal assured that compensation and financial support for education would be arranged for the family members of those who were killed or missing by forming a law. Premier Dahal also informed that those killed in the People's War would be declared as national martyrs. Presidential candidates Ramchandra Paudel of Nepali Congress and Subhash Chandra Nemwang of CPN-UML have expedited their parleys and correspondence with vote appeals. Paudel and Nemwang had registered their candidacies yesterday for the presidential election scheduled for 9th of March. Both candidates have claimed that they will generate majority votes. Supported by 8 parties, Paudel has begun meeting with leaders of other parties to seek their votes. Paudel met with members of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party yesterday and asked for their support. Meanwhile, CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli has corresponded with all parties excluding Nepali Congress, asking for votes for Nemwang. CPN Unified Socialist members have said that doors have opened for dialogue with CPN-UML after Oli's correspondence. However, CPN Unified Socialist has declined CPN-UML's request to vote for Nemwang. Both candidates had registered their candidacies at the Office of the Election Officer in the Federal Parliament premises in New Baneshwar yesterday. Paudel reached the office with leaders of 8 parties, including Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal and Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba. Leader Deuba, Madhav Kumar Nepal, Narayan Kaji Shrestha, Ashok Kumar Rai and Abdul Khan proposed Paudel's candidacy, while he has the backing of Mahanta Thakur, Purna Bahadur Khadka, Ranjita Shrestha, Chitra Bahadur Kesi and Hitraj Pandey. After filing his candidacy, Paudel said that he would work to defend national transformation and work for the benefit of the public. Likewise, from CPN-UML, KP Sharma Oli, Prithvi Subba Gurung, Gokarna Bishta, Raghubir Mahaset and Chabilal Bishwakarma proposed the candidacy of Subhash Nemwang, while he has the backing of Yogesh Kumar Bhattrai, Top Bahadur Raimaji, Julie Kumari Mahato, Dil Kumari Raul Thapa and Aman Kumar Maske. Nemwang's remarks included assurances of working as the president of the people. The voting for the presidential election will be held from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on 9th of March. A total of 882 voters, including 332 members of the federal parliament and 550 members of the provincial assembly of all the 7 provinces, will cast their ballot. Considering the political statistics, Podel is likely to receive the majority votes. However, CPN UML has said that Nemwang is likely to win the election as party whip is not applied in the presidential election. Today's meeting of the National Assembly was adjourned by passing a condolence motion on the demise of House of Representatives member Shahnaz Rahman. The National Assembly meeting today passed the motion and expressed condolence to the death of parliamentarian Rahman, who passed away yesterday due to a heart attack. Janata Samajwadi Party's lawmaker Rahman, who was elected from the proportionate category, was 63 years old. The next meeting of the National Assembly has been scheduled for tomorrow. Following the change in the national political equation, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party has also quit the Bagmati province government. Following the decision of the party to withdraw its ministers from the provincial government as well, 3 ministers of Rashtriya Prajatantra Party have resigned. The ministers from the party have furnished their resignation to Bagmati Chief Minister. With this, the party has withdrawn its support to the provincial government. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development has decided to conduct additional study on the National Dairy Development Board's proposal to raise the price of milk and will then make preparations to present it at the cabinet meeting. The National Dairy Development Board had proposed to increase the buying rate of milk from 56 rupees to 66 rupees per litre. From the proposed rate, the board has set aside 7 rupees for the farmers and 3 rupees per litre for the industrialists. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development is holding discussions on the board's proposal and preparing to present it at the next meeting of the Council of Ministers. According to the board, the price of milk needs to be adjusted as farmers have been selling milk at 56 rupees per litre, which has a production cost of 58 rupees per litre. The National Dairy Development Board had turned in a study report to the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development on 15th of February, saying that the price of milk needs to be raised by 10 rupees per litre. There is a daily demand of 5.2 million litres of milk in Nepal. However, only 800,000 to 1 million litres of milk is supplied to the market. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What is the reason for the delay in rehabilitation of farmers that have been affected by epidemics in livestock? Your options are A, absence of farmer-friendly policy, B, lack of awareness of insurance, and C, inadequate budget. The voting is on. Type ADWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. At least 33 people have died after a migrant shipwreck off the eastern coast of Italy's Calabria region. Some 27 bodies were found washed up on the shores of Steccato di Cutro, a seaside resort in the province of Crotone, and more were spotted at sea and 3 others were found in the water. It has been informed that more than 100 people were aboard the boat that carried the migrants and that about 50 people have been rescued. The boat bringing migrants from Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan crashed against rocks during rough sea weather. The Italian Coast Guard was not immediately reachable for comment. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky yesterday urged the European Union to keep increasing pressure on Moscow, even as the bloc adopted a 10th package of sanctions against Russia over its invasion of Ukraine. In his nightly video address, Zelensky called on the EU to impose restrictions on Russia's nuclear industry in addition to its latest sanctions, which target Russia's banking sector and its access to electronic components and specific rare earth materials. The new EU package does not include sanctions against Russia's state-owned nuclear energy company, Rosatom, nor the wider nuclear energy sector. Several European countries, such as France, buy uranium from Russia for their reactors, and Hungary has been outspoken against nuclear energy sanctions. The Ukrainian president also thanked his military for their efforts in fighting Russian forces in the eastern part of the country. On the Adamant, a documentary about a floating daycare center in Paris for adults with mental illness clinched the Berlin Film Festival's Golden Bear Award yesterday. Its director, Nicolas Philibert, said he was deeply touched by the jury's decision to award the Berlinale's top prize to a documentary rather than a work of fiction. Shot over 3 years, the film follows life at a daycare center aboard the Adamant, a barrage moored on the right bank of the Seine, where patients and carers interact in ways that break with what Philibert sees as the dehumanization of psychiatry. The festival's Silver Bear for Best Leading Actor went to Sofia Otero, who plays an 8-year-old transgender child in 20,000 species of bees. Austrian transgender actor Thea Ehrer picked up the Best Supporting Actor trophy for Till the End of the Night. The Silver Bear Grand Jury Prize was awarded to German filmmaker and Berlinale regular Christian Petzold for his latest film, A Fire, while Portuguese director João Canijo received the Silver Bear Jury Prize for Bad Living. French cinematographer Hélène Louvard was honored with the Silver Bear for outstanding artistic contribution for her work in Giacomo Abruzzesi's feature debut Disco Boy, which was years in the making.
Por que tu me mandaste embora?
Eu não te mandei embora, tu foste.
Eu tinha 12 anos e tu mandaste-me embora.
Quiseste ir e foste.
Porque eu percebi que tu não me querias aqui ao pé de ti.
Thousands of people gathered yesterday at the Brandenburg Gate, a landmark in German capital city Berlin, to protest against weapon supplies to Ukraine and call for a peaceful settlement of the conflict. The protest came a day after anti-war demonstrations were held across Germany to mark the one-year anniversary of the Ukraine crisis. Despite snow, the protesters held placards and chanted the slogan, "Make peace, not weapons," calling for negotiations and stopping sending weapons to Ukraine. Anti-war activists also criticized that increasing military aid to Ukraine will only drag the conflict into an endless war of attrition. The protest was organized by German left-wing politician Sarah Wagenknecht and renowned writer Alice Schwarzer. Wagenknecht earlier published a manifesto for peace, which was signed by 69 representatives from the political, scientific, and social sectors, asking German government to stop providing weapons to Ukraine to avoid the conflict acceleration and to reduce the risk of world war and nuclear war. Meanwhile, they also called for a peaceful solution to the conflict through diplomatic negotiations. Released on 10th of February, the Manifesto for Peace has gathered more than 600,000 signatures, and the number is still growing. Welcome back. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Australia have won the toss and have elected to bat first. A Supreme Court hearing on whether or not to hold cricketer Sandeep Lamichhane, who is alleged of raping a minor, in judicial custody, was held today. The court is yet to issue an interim order on Lamichhane's application seeking approval to travel to the United Arab Emirates for the ICC World Cricket League 2 tournament. Earlier, the Office of the Attorney General had moved the Apex Court against the decision of the High Court of releasing the rape-accused cricketer on a bail amount of 2 million rupees. The Supreme Court is now only likely to deliver a verdict in the two writs tomorrow. Lamichhane was included in the national team after his suspension was lifted following his release. He then played for Nepal against Scotland and Namibia in the home series of the World Cricket League 2 tournament. The UAE leg of the tournament begins tomorrow, where Nepal will play Papua New Guinea and the hosts UAE. Nepal begin their tournament with a clash against PNG tomorrow. A-Division club Machindra have stormed into the finals of the Bhadrapur Chapa Gold Cup. With the win, Machindra have now set a date with Tribhuvan Army Club in the final on Tuesday. In the second semi-final today, Machindra chalked out a narrow 1-0 victory over Armed Police Force. In the well-contest match at Mechi Stadium, Machindra captain Sujal Shrestha put his team on the lead with a goal in the 17th minute. Sujal scored from just outside the D-box to beat the keeper Angel Shrestha. This was Sujal's third consecutive goal in the tournament. Prior to this, Sujal had scored a decisive goal off a free kick against Church Boys United, another A-Division club from Kathmandu. Machindra will now take on Tribhuvan Army in the finals scheduled for Tuesday. And that's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.